map and a crash report and building a bridge where there was no port.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on something you don't see every day, a captured criminal playbook. We're going to go inside the mind of someone who literally teaches a masterclass on how to be a cybercriminal. Now, this quote, it's not from some Hollywood movie. This is a direct quote from a leaked online lecture, and it's going to be our source material for this whole breakdown. I mean, that one sentence alone tells you everything you need to know about the cold, calculated way these folks operate. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We're breaking down their entire methodology into 6 parts. Think of it like we're treating this lecture as a piece of evidence, figuring out how these operations work from the inside out. So, first up, a classroom for criminals. Let's set the stage. What exactly are we looking at here? Well, our source is a lecture transcript from a cybercriminal who goes by Jose Ramirez, and he's teaching aspiring fraudsters how to find and exploit online stores. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't just some random hacking, it's a structured curriculum. And the instructor lays out a super clear, almost business-like objective for his students. His words, how to find a suitable shop and how to identify merch that processes payments on this site. The language is just chillingly professional, right? It frames crime not as chaos, but as a technical skill you can master. This isn't just about stealing stuff. It's about reverse engineering the very systems that we all use every single day. Okay, let's dive into the playbook itself. Chapter 2, Hunting Vulnerable Shops. And the very first rule, according to our instructor, avoid the big fish. It's all about finding the path of least resistance. He says, and I quote, "The first pages of search engines will always feature giant stores like Best Buy, Amazon." He's basically telling them, look, you can go after the big guys, but that's a whole different level. It's smarter to focus the hunt on smaller, more vulnerable businesses, the ones that just don't have the resources to put up a real fight. And this slide just perfectly illustrates the difference in their whole approach. You or I might search for buy Gucci jeans, we're looking for a product. But a Carter, they're searching for something like clothes shop plus in URL straight slim fit jeans. See the difference? They're not looking to buy anything. They're looking to exploit a specific type of vulnerable shop using these advanced search commands. All right, on to part 3, the art of the hunt. So the playbook actually outlines 2 main strategies for finding these vulnerable shops. And this isn't just random guesswork. No, it's a systematic process, moving from really technical queries to exploiting online communities. So you've got 2 main types of attack here. The first is all about using SEO-optimized queries. It's super technical. It's about reverse engineering how shops are built to find their weaker competitors. The second method, though, is more like digital canvassing. It's about scouring places like auctions, marketplaces, and forums where small businesses hang out and, sometimes unknowingly reveal their biggest weaknesses. Okay, so this first technique is pretty wild. It's basically looking under the hood of a totally legitimate website. You find a mid-tier shop, you view its page source, the code, and you pull out the exact keywords it uses for its marketing. Then you take those keywords and use them to find all of its smaller, less secure competitors. It's brilliant in a really twisted way. Now get this, a key tactic involves weaponizing something we all use, store review websites. But here's the twist. Instead of looking for the best shops, the lecturer tells his students to hunt for the worst. He points them to one platform where a staggering 70% of stores in a category have a 0 rating. And for a fraudster, that's not a red flag. Nope, it's a dinner bell. And then he says this, and about 3/4 of those 70% are small shops that sell well. What's so crazy about this is the completely backward logic. For a criminal, a terrible public rating is a giant green light. Why? Because it suggests a small, probably poorly managed shop with unhappy customers and, this is the crucial part, weak security. It's a perfect, easy target. Okay, so once they found a target, what's next? That brings us to part 4. Exploiting payment systems. Now it's time to analyze the shop's financial backbone, the system it uses to process credit cards, which they call merch. So before we can talk about how they trick the system, we gotta know what the system is. First up, the merch or merchant account. All this is really is a special kind of bank account that lets a business take card payments. You can think of it as the gatekeeper of the money. Okay, next up is the payment gateway. Now, if the merchant account is the gatekeeper, the gateway is kind of like the lock on the door. It's the piece of technology that connects the Buy Now button on a website to the whole payment network.
And finally, you've got payment aggregators. Think of these as the one-stop shops that handle everything for a small business. Now, for a fraudster, knowing which of these a store uses, is it a simple gateway or a big aggregator? That is crucial. It's like a burglar knowing the exact make and model of the alarm system they're about to go up against. It changes the entire plan of attack.
So now that we get the basic components, let's look at how these criminals actually exploit them. This brings us to the Carter's arsenal. The lecture gives a super detailed scouting report on all these different payment systems, outlining their weaknesses and the best tactics to use against each one. And this is just a little sample from the lecturer's list. It's basically an arsenal of intelligence. You've got SagePay, Adyen, Authorize. He treats each one like a different kind of lock, each needing a very specific key to pick it. For example, with Adyen, if the card goes through, it's a 100% hit for flights. This isn't random smashing and grabbing. It's a cold, data-driven strategy. Okay, and for our final section, inside the criminal mind. This is where it gets really interesting. The Q&A part of the lecture gives us this rare glimpse into the language, the culture, and the just chillingly pragmatic mindset of this criminal subculture. So throughout the lecture, the instructor is throwing around all the specific jargon. And at one point, a student asks a pretty simple question. What does SI mean? And the answer is social engineering. This reveals a really crucial part of their world. It's not just about writing code, it's about manipulating people. And this whole world of deception has its own vocabulary. Like a POS order isn't some technical hack, it's just calling up an employee and tricking them into processing a fraudulent purchase over the phone. It's deception, pure and simple. And this really brings it all home. When another student asks if a certain tactic is okay to use, the lecturer's response sums up their entire philosophy. There's no right or wrong. Everything is correct if there's a profit. Morality is completely off the table. All that matters is the money. This is the core belief driving this entire dark enterprise. You know, deconstructing this playbook, it doesn't just show us a how-to guide for a crime. It reveals a systematic, data-driven enterprise that treats fraud like any other business. And it leaves us with a really critical question about this constant invisible war being waged every single time any of us clicks buy online.
I ride it, I wire it, I ship it when it's tight. Stitching broken systems through the middle of the night. Let the bill fall down, let the pipeline scream. I'll drag it back to stable, brick by scheme. From chaos into order, from bugging to release. From it won't even start to something that brings peace. No spotlight on the hands that keep it all alive. But I'm the pulse behind the screen, and that's how things survive. No, that's how things survive. And that's how things survive. Sunrise loads, quiet victory in the code. No parade, no final word, just system steady as promised as heard.